Imagine you're walking home alone. It's just after midnight. The streets are silent. The cold air stings your face. In the distance, you hear a strange sound. Teke, teke, teke. At first, it seems faint, almost like metal scraping against the pavement. But every few seconds, it gets closer, faster, louder. You turn around. No one is there. The sound stops. For a brief moment, you convince yourself it was only your imagination. Then, you hear it again. Teke, teke, teke. Only this time, it's right behind you. According to one of Japan's most terrifying urban legends, if you ever hear that sound after dark, you may already be too late. Because something is chasing you. Something that has been terrifying Japanese students for more than 40 years. A spirit said to haunt railway crossings, abandoned streets, school corridors, and lonely roads after midnight. Her name is Teke Teke. But here's the question. Is she nothing more than a terrifying Japanese ghost story? Or was this nightmare inspired by a real tragedy? Tonight, we'll uncover the complete history behind one of the most famous Japanese urban legends ever told. From its mysterious origins, to the ancient belief in vengeful spirits, to the chilling encounters that continue to be reported across Japan. And before this story ends, you'll discover why some people believe Teke Teke may not be entirely fictional. Welcome to House of Legends. Before we can understand Teke Teke, we first need to understand the country where her legend was born. Japan, a land where the future and the past exist side by side. Towering skyscrapers stand only blocks away from centuries-old temples. Ancient shrines remain hidden among crowded cities. Old traditions continue to shape everyday life. And unlike many places around the world, folklore is not simply remembered here. For many people, it is respected. Across Japan, ghost stories are more than entertainment. They are passed from parents to children, shared among classmates, whispered during school trips, told around campfires, repeated on late-night train rides. Every generation adds something new, a different witness, a different location, a different warning. Some disappear over time. Others become legends, but only a handful become so deeply rooted in Japanese culture that millions of people recognize them instantly. Teke Teke is one of those legends. But what makes this story different is how recently it appeared. Unlike ancient tales that date back hundreds of years, most researchers believe the legend of Teke Teke first began spreading during the late 1970s and early 1980s. And according to the oldest known versions, its birthplace was Japan's northernmost island, Hokkaido. Imagine standing alone beside an empty railway crossing. Snow falls silently around you. The freezing wind whistles through the trees. No cars, no voices, no footsteps, only endless white landscapes and miles of railroad tracks disappearing into the darkness. It's the perfect setting for a horror story. And perhaps that's exactly why the legend found a home there. Hokkaido is famous for its breathtaking mountains, dense forests, volcanic landscapes, and some of the harshest winters in Japan. Heavy snowfall often covers entire towns. Quiet roads become nearly deserted after sunset. Railway crossings stretch through isolated neighborhoods where silence can feel almost unnatural. For generations, the island has inspired stories of mysterious disappearances, ghostly encounters, and strange creatures said to wander the wilderness. Whether those stories are true depends on who you ask. But by the late 1970s, a new story began spreading among students, one unlike anything they had heard before. It wasn't about an ancient demon, or a cursed temple, or a forgotten shrine. It was about a girl who was said to crawl through the night, dragging herself across the ground with terrifying speed, making a sound that witnesses would never forget. Teke, Teke. Teke. That scraping noise would eventually give the spirit her name. But that's only one version of the story. And before we discover who or what Teke Teke really is, there's something even more important you need to understand. Because in Japan, ghosts are not all the same. Some protect the living, some simply linger after death, and others return with only one purpose: revenge. To understand Teke Teke, you first need to understand one of the oldest supernatural beliefs in Japanese folklore, the Onryō. For centuries, Japanese folklore has spoken of spirits who cannot find peace after death, not because they are evil, but because something terrible happened to them while they were alive. A betrayal, an injustice, a murder, a devastating accident. According to tradition, when someone dies while consumed by overwhelming grief, hatred, or unbearable suffering, their spirit may refuse to move on. Instead, it remains trapped between the world of the living and the dead. These spirits are known as Onryō, vengeful ghosts driven by powerful emotions that never faded. Unlike many Western ghosts, an Onryō doesn't simply haunt a place. It seeks resolution, sometimes justice, sometimes revenge. Ancient Japanese literature contains stories about these spirits dating back hundreds of years. Kabuki theater transformed them into unforgettable characters. Modern horror films carried the tradition into the 21st century. Some of the most famous ghosts in Japanese cinema, including long-haired women dressed in white, were inspired by the same belief: the idea that intense human suffering can leave behind something that refuses to disappear. Many legends claim an Onryō remains connected to the place where tragedy occurred. Old houses, hospitals, schools, bridges, forests, and perhaps most famously, railway crossings. Places where ordinary life suddenly became the scene of unimaginable horror for believers. These locations don't simply hold memories, they hold emotions. The final moments of lives cut tragically short. And according to the legend, one such tragedy gave birth to Teke Teke. But here's where the story becomes truly disturbing. Unlike most ghost stories, some people believe Teke Teke wasn't created out of pure imagination. They believe a real accident, a real young woman, may have inspired the nightmare. Whether that's true, I will discover soon, because the next chapter of this legend begins on a freezing winter night, beside a lonely railway track. And what happened there would become one of Japan's most terrifying stories.